Hey everybody, I'm Louis Amestoy here on the Bako Motorsports Power Hour, brought to you by the Bakersfield Californian. I'm glad to be here with you guys. We've been covering racing here at Bakersfield Californian since the beginning, right, Mike Griffith, who's my co-host?
Older, as long as dirt's been around.
As long as dirt's been around, we've been covering it. I wonder what, I think we had this question earlier, like the first races that were covered by this newspaper. I mean, they date back to 1900 as far as racing in Kern County, right?
Yeah, I've got articles from, I think, 1909. Certainly a lot of 1911, 1913 era stuff when there was a big mile track out there by the old fairground, Sam Lynn Ballpark, and talked about people coming in from trains from San Francisco to race. Very, very interesting history of racing here.
How many racetracks are here, do you think, at any given time?
Well, before the war, there was a midget track over there by 4th and P, second and P, I think.
Right.
Second and Union. I think there used to be a motorcycle track on the other side of Oak Street when there was nothing there but weeds. There was obviously the big dirt track in the early 1900s. So, and then we have these, my favorite.
We're going to just run that on a loop for you.
Could we go on to something else?
We're going to run that on a loop for you the entire day.
Thank you.
This is a mini dwarf race.
Hey, did you know that the best race of the weekend was the Moto Grand Prix?
Oh, my gosh.
Yes, in Qatar. Valentino Rossi outdueled a couple of Ducati drivers. Just a great four-rider race. Felix Adamo said something on his Facebook page, and I happened to catch a replay of it. And without a doubt, best race of the weekend. Sure beat the Formula One race where Sebastian Vettel won. Actually, an
Italian.
A Ferrari
wins,
won.
Yeah. Right.
And I think that was more of a tire deal. We'll see. I don't think the Ferraris have caught up to the Mercedes. Maybe so.
Is Lewis Hamilton a Mercedes driver? He's a Mercedes guy?
He's a Mercedes guy.
Okay.
And then we had Fast Jack Beckman winning the NHRA 4-Wide Nationals in funny car, friend of Nostalgia Racing.
I just am amazed by that because, it's like you look at I think putting it in perspective, how often do you see, like a major league player show up at a little league game, or a college World Series just because they love the game so much? Probably not very often. But, these NHRA guys, and I think the same thing's true with the NASCAR guys, you see them just show up at racing because they like racing.
They like racing. They like racing. They like certainly a lot of the dirt track guys, the guys who Tony Stewart came from the sprint car ranks, and you'll see a lot of those guys show up at sprint car races or follow it. And dirt track guys who grew up dirt track racing really seem to have a big following.
Right. All right, we are in show number 6 here of the young season here.
By the way.
Yes.
Montoya won the IndyCar race in St. Petersburg, and that would be Florida, not Russia.
I didn't even know that was even still around. Is that still a thing?
St. Petersburg or IndyCar?
Well, they have an IndyCar 500, the Indy 500 this year. That's going to be
and actually a couple of weeks, I think the 19th, that weekend, the 18th, 19th, is the Long Beach Grand Prix,
right?
Which should be tops on anyone's lists for people watching. If you want to go to a IndyCar race.
All right, we are, like I said, in show number 6. You can follow us on Facebook at the Bako Motorsports Power Hour. Find us there. We have a lot of interesting content on there, and of course, we're voting for Driver of the Week right now, and it has been an incredible vote so far. But we'll talk about that in a moment, which we posted on Facebook. But you can also now find us on, here it is, Instagram and Twitter. So follow us at Bako Motorsports on both of those spots, and we've got some content we're starting to move up in there. And we'll be tweeting out things periodically from that account as well. And don't forget that also tomorrow we will have this page available for you, hopefully with the right time and day of the Power Hour showing. But this is our Power Hour recap page, and pretty excited about this. This is starting to turn into a real nice page. Last week's local driver of the week was Gary Dutton. And right now, I'd say that we have a lot of strong choices for Driver of the Week, Mike. I was looking at the list here that we put together. Eric Richardson, Aaron Stewart, Rob Sanders, Cruz Griffith, Tina Bell, David Mayhew, and Johnny White. Mayhew was the only guy who didn't win, but I thought he should be on that list because he did have a pretty tremendous run there at Kern County Raceway Park on Saturday.
Yeah, he had a good run. Dalton Sargent, who we got to know in February and March 1st when he was running the Winter Showdown, had the best car late in the race. Obviously, And Mayhew pushed that kid. He got him sideways a couple of times and let him go. He didn't take him out, and Sargent hung on for the win. So pretty exciting race there.
And I mentioned also Johnny White, who did double duty on Saturday. We'll talk to Steve Hughes in our first segment. We're going to have Cruz Griffith on today in the third segment with Bakersfield Speedway's owner Scott Schweitzer, and allegedly, believe it or not, Blake Bowser will be back here to disclose what if he's building us our suite on the other side of the track over there at Kern County Race or at Bakersfield. Where is he at again? Auto Club Famosa Raceway. Thank you very much. Okay. Let's go to our first topic of the table, and this is the paperclip power. Harvick slips to 8th at Martinsville, but he led like 154 laps of this, like, it was like a 1,000-lap race, Mike. Denny Hamlin got the win. Big day for Toyota there.
That was the
I think Danny
500 laps, and
it was like 6 hours long.
Yeah, I've got ACD or something. Attention deficit,
ADHD?
AD, something.
ACD is something else.
Yeah, ACDC. My limit of watching anything is about 3 hours.
I fell asleep about halfway through this, and I came home, and actually I was at home, and I was watching this thing, and I fell asleep. So when my wife and my daughter got home, they had the bonus of seeing me asleep on the couch with NASCAR on TV. They were not very happy. They were screaming and yelling.
Were they?
Yeah.
Actually, I watched quite a bit of the race. I was doing things, and then Harvick was still leading when I kind of had other things to do because of time constraints.
Yeah, I thought he was going to win the race, but he slipped down to 8th. Casey Mears actually. Here, let's show you a couple pictures. Here's these are all from USA Today, but Kevin Harvick, still. He's got a big lead now in the points. Not that necessarily matters, but he's still he's just showing that he's the guy to beat. And even the Fox guys were saying, I don't think he's going to be. This is going to be the week that they get him. And I tell you what, they sure didn't. He was pretty dominant at times in that race. Casey Mears had a little spin out late in the race, and he ended up finishing 15th. Right?
Yeah, and he actually had to start at the back of the pack because they broke a transmission in qualifying, so had to go to the rear. Ran a little higher than that at one time, but not a bad day for him.
I think he might have been as high as 12th at one point.
Yeah, so 15th place finish, take it and go on. The car was in one piece. Good deal.
Pretty good. I thought a lot of people are saying how the other guys passed a lot of people. I thought he passed a ton of people because he did start off with the back of the pack with that blown transmission. So we'll get to that here. Here's the Harvick. He finishes 8th, but he's still first in the Sprint Cup standings. Casey Mears is still hanging in there, 13th in the Sprint Cup standings. What do you think he can still sneak into the chase there at the end?
I don't think so. 13th through his 12th a few weeks ago. Yeah. I see somewhere between 15th and 20th in points, I think, realistically, at the end of the year. So he's got to try to win a race, and probably the best bet for that would be the one Talladega race left before the chase in the
I think his best finish last year was at Daytona. The second race was the 4th of July weekend, right?
So those two, the restrictor plate races, probably his best chances at sneaking in on a win.
Okay. All right. A couple things we're going to get caught up on here. By the way, we've had more than 5,000 votes in this contest, by the way, or 4,700 votes, almost 5,000 votes. I don't know if that's a record.
You know what? I bet you some people are voting more than once.
I think they do. Yeah. Although, it was the most read story on Bakersfield.com yesterday, believe it or not. Okay, here we go.
I don't know what that says.
We got a lot to get to real quick before John kicks us off. The Duck Commander 500 they're off this weekend because it's Easter. So they'll run again on the 11th, and then you see the rest of the lineup there. Okay, let's get real quick through this. Tom Mock provided these photos for us, and I don't look very good in that picture. But I'm talking to Chris Dalton. You're talking to the girl from Boise.
Yeah, I was talking to her.
All right, real quick, 5 things we've learned so far. Quickly.
Okay, go.
One, I've learned that the stuffed smoked jalapenos at Kern County Raceway Park are to die for. They're fantastic. Right? Events Unlimited does a great job. You had the pastrami there. How'd you like that?
That was pretty good. That was a little different take on pastrami. That was very good.
My tri-tip was a little dry, but it was still pretty good. I thought, even though the sandwich was $9, I thought it was a good value, quite frankly.
Yeah, it was $9 in the pits, and it was pretty big. It was $9. There's plenty of pastrami there. It's a hard attack on a bun, so that's fine.
All right, number 4, real quick. For me, the competitiveness at Bakersfield Speedway so far this season, you've got different winners in hobby stocks, sport mods. That's been incredible so far this season.
Yeah.
All right.
I've learned that Lewis likes cream in his coffee.
I like cream in my coffee. Apparently, he poured a lot of it into my coffee this morning. And Tina Bell's like running away with the mini stocks. That's I've also learned that.
Yeah, she's doing a good job right there. So she's doing that. What else have I learned?
I've learned that
I've learned that the mini dwarf parents and drivers had a fun time out at Bakersfield Speedway on Sunday.
Okay, all right.
I heard that. I'm not sure how much fun it was, but
there you are.
But there were there's an interesting Facebook thread on that. So
I learned Jim Coffey told me on Thursday before the big race on Saturday that there was some concerns about possibly people will roll, based on the rule changes in that spec mod class, and sure enough, who caused the crash? Jim Coffey. I think he admitted it. I don't know if he caused it or not.
Yeah, he said he made a mistake. A guy got in front of him and he tagged the river. And basically what happened is the first lap going into turn 3 and all heck broke loose and you had 2-3 cars into the wall, one rolling over, not a big rollover, but it wasn't caused by any aerodynamics or anything. It was just a mistake, but it probably totaled 4 cars.
Yeah,
so
4 cars.
Not a good thing.
Last thing, and we'll go to break here. I've learned that Kern County Raceway Park does a pretty good job of fireworks. Pretty good fireworks.
They had to get the Zamboli fireworks in there, and they have a fireworks show. They don't scrimp.
I was a little hot on the collar there, and I kind of just chilled out, watched the fireworks, and got better. So, all right, we're going to have Steve Hughes up next on Kern County Raceway Park. We'll talk to you guys in a moment here. Don't forget to vote for the driver of the week coming up next.